Assalamualaikum. Thanks for coming to our podcast. For right now, we're just calling it My Cave, I guess. My name is Atif. We're just going to start off by introducing ourselves. So, once again, my name is Atif. I'm 17 years old, and I'm just a high school student with some big dreams, man. I'm also like a youth worker, or like a youth. What is it? Community.
Tell them about your voicemail.
My voicemail is, "Hi, you've reached Atif Yahia, and if you can dream it, you can do it." That's my voicemail.
Most pretentious voicemail ever.
No, but I feel like it's so weird saying it to you guys because, like, I say Atif Yahia. When, like, to you guys, I'm Atif Yahia. It's like different.
Wait, you actually say Atif Yahia?
Atif Yahia.
Yeah,
like,
I could never figure out what he's saying whenever I call him.
Most people that call me are, like, friends, right? So to them, I'm Atif.
You have to cater to the masses, essentially.
Like, when you have a name like Cher, like, you just, like... My name's Cher. Like, there's no, like, way around it. Anyways, that would have been a good segue. With me, I have...
Cher, as mentioned by our wonderful host here. Not to be mistaken by the singer Cher. I actually have a terrible singing voice. You guys are laughing right now.
Do you believe in love?
Okay, I was just going to bring that up. This is exactly what I was going to say, is you have no idea how many people come up to me and say, "Hey, Cher, do you believe in love after life?" And I'm telling you, to this day, I still don't have a proper response. But
do you believe in love?
That's left to the critics. Okay, so,
What is love?
Before I get off on a tangent here and start talking about my childhood nightmares, I guess a few things about myself. Number one is, I guess, I'm a fashion buff.
He's not.
These guys are laughing.
He's fashion. He's fashion, but he's not buff.
Wow. Some people have cooking, some people have Star Wars, some people have Fallout 4, which I totally don't understand what that whole thing is about. You guys got to educate me on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But mine's clothing.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and I can, like, totally, like, back you up on it. Cher is, like, a very fashionable dude.
Oh,
like,
hey, okay.
See, this is why I'm here, guys. This is why I'm here, to get credit. No, and this one's actually kind of interesting. I don't have any form of social networking. So that means no Facebook, no Snapchat, no Instagram, mostly because I feel like face-to-face communication is the best way to build relationships. So I can't brag about how many Facebook friends I have, how many followers I have, but I can let you know I have like 17 groups on WhatsApp, 14 of them being irrelevant.
Fair point. My name is Zaki, and I am a nerd. Classic nerd.
Moving on, okay.
We already knew that about you.
No, interesting things about me. I love soccer. I love Arsenal. That's the name of the club I follow in England. Even though I have no connection to England, and I rarely play soccer, and I call it football. And then the second thing is I love, like, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and gaming in that order.
Cool
stuff.
Well, actually, you do have a connection to England because you're from India.
I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say something like that. I was thinking that's your colonial roots.
That's your motherland, man.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to go there.
Whenever I think of India, I don't know if you guys have seen that movie called Lagan.
That's what actually.
Yes, I have.
That Bollywood movie where, like, the Indian cricket team plays. Yeah. Was that a historical event? Did that?
No,
really
it didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen.
I swear, like, up until this point, like right now, I thought that was a real thing that happened.
But that movie is nice.
But there was just over-dramatized. That's my favorite Bollywood movie.
The movie is very nice.
Yeah.
My name is Aaron, and I actually haven't seen a full Bollywood movie yet, which is surprising.
Okay, you're getting married to it.
Well, okay. I am marrying a Guyanese woman, so we'll see about that. I've been a Muslim for 8 years, and I am also a nerd. I love me my video games and my Lego especially. And you're one to talk. Okay. Yeah, that's me.
You know what? It's not surprising you haven't seen a full Bollywood movie because it's actually a commitment. They're about 6 hours long, and they do have an intermission where you can go get popcorn in between.
True,
so,
100%.
The intermission is 1 hour long.
Yeah. I remember hearing a joke on, like, a comedy show that was like, a flight to, like, from the U.S. to India is like 14 hours, but they'll hover over India for another 10 hours so you can finish watching your Bollywood movie. Bollywood movies are ridiculous. Actually, I used to watch a lot of Bollywood movies with my grandma, and she, like, I call her Didi, which is, like, an Indian word. I have no idea what it means. And
it means sister.
Right. And she probably told me to call her.
But that's your grandma.
She told me, she's like, call me Didi. I was like, okay, Didi. Like that, so I call her Didi, and everyone else
Okay.
was like Daddy and like all this, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm special in that sense, I guess.
And you're just taking your shirt off.
Yeah.
It's that time.
That's a sweater. Also, I don't like when I think about it. My family, like the way I call like my dad, my uncles, is super weird. Like when I think about it, I call my dad baby. I call. I'll explain all of this. I'll explain all
Please
of this.
do.
I promise.
Yes.
Probably shouldn't leave it at that. I call my dad baby. I call my second uncle on my dad's side by his first name. Not even
Hey.
that, like his childhood nickname.
Call him Bay.
I call him Monu. His name is like Munir, and I call him Monu, which is like his
Okay.
nickname.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then I call the third. This is the weirdest part. My third uncle, I call him Dad.
What?
Like the
Yeah.
English word dad?
No, Dad. Like I call him Dad.
Like the English word.
Yeah, like
Wow.
Dad. What are you doing, right? And then my fourth uncle, like Kutub, you guys all know him.
Yeah.
I just call him Raju, which is like his like first name. It's like pretty disrespectful.
Really?
Yeah, and so it's like honestly, I was told to call all these people all these things except for my dad. I call him baby now because I don't call him baby. That sounds weird. I call him like baby, which is like a brown like brown accented baby,
Baby.
right? So like when I was little, everyone would come over to our house and they would go to my dad and they'd be like, "Hey, is this your baby?" and pointing at me, and he was like making a dad joke. He's like, "No, this is my dad. I'm his baby."
You
So
know
I
what?
call him baby.
Wow.
That's actually really funny that you call him baby, because I don't know why I'm telling you this, guys. I hope I can live it down. But everybody in kind of like my Pakistani community and in my family, they call me Nunu. Like, I knew it.
This
I
is
knew it was
new.
a bad
This is
idea.
very new.
Okay, so Nunu means baby in Arabic. I was born in Saudi Arabia, right? But the thing is, like, since my
Dang.
family calls me Nunu, the whole Pakistani community calls me Nunu. And it was funny when it was my brother's wedding, when I was doing the speech, I was like, okay, salamu alaikum, everybody. I actually do, in fact, have a real name. And share. People were like, what?
Do you know what Nunu means in like Bengali?
I
It's
do.
like slang for like.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
No, what, okay, let me see if it's right, though. What does it mean?
No, don't. What?
What do you? It means like a penis. Like, like you kick me in my Nunu.
I don't want.
Like that's like that's what it means.
That's good to know.
Like,
Well, no, like, I mean, like, now I know why, like, Bengali people are laughing
Yeah,
when I
like-
introduce that.
don't do that.
It's my name, man. What are you talking about?
What, you want me to change?
Thanks, Atif.
I want
Atef, yeah.
I'm gonna change my voicemail to hi, you've reached Altaf Yahya or Atef Yahya, whichever makes you feel more.
Whichever demographic you're from,
whichever you identify with.
Please change this when you get a real job.
Yeah. What do you mean a real job?
Where do you work right now?
Skechers. That's a real job.
Real job in comfort.
Yeah.
That's right. You work at Skechers.
Yeah.
My mom needed some really nice Skechers shoes.
This
but
guy's always
I
looking
didn't
for a
know.
discount, man.
Too bad I don't have a real job to hook her up with.
Oh, okay. That burn.
No,
I feel bad now.
If she wants like shape ups, those are so comfortable. Ugliest shoe in the world.
Yeah.
Skechers wants to sponsor us. Ugliest shoe in the world, but so
It's
comfortable.
awkward silence.
Aren't those ones that say you'll like lose weight just by walking?
There's a
Yeah.
huge lawsuit.
Yeah, 'cause
because
it's
of
kind of-
that.
Because that
Yeah,
doesn't
kinda
happen.
stupid.
We had to discontinue them for like a couple of years.
And now they're bringing them back.
Yeah, we brought them back
Because they sell?
They were our most popular shoe. We just had a stupid ad during the Super Bowl with Kim Kardashian, which was like we got so much trouble over that.
Okay.
Needless to say, like no more Kim Kardashian. Now we're more like with like some runners and stuff. I don't know why I'm like plugging Skechers.
Maybe they are sponsoring us. Who knows?
Yeah.
So the podcast itself is just going to consist of a couple brothers of like among us. Sharon and I will be here quite frequently. I don't know about Aaron and Zeki. They'll also be here frequently, but not every single episode because all of us have commitments and like all of that.
We're just too fly.
Some of
Yeah.
us have lives.
Some of us are too fly.
Some of us can prioritize.
Some of us
big
don't
time.
work at Skechers, so.
Oh.
I'm here every week. Like, why are you just?
I know, right?
Roasting the host.
Roast the host.
So we just finished with an osra, which is like a get together of like a couple of us, and we talk about like Islam, and we talk about like different topics, including like the life of our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and all these things, right? Like how to be better Muslims and how to be better people. and like that was pretty serious. But what I wanted to, well, the reason I bring this up is because like everyone's super tired. We like this is at like we're now recording at 8:30, and our Ostra itself began at around 6:30, right? And so everyone was very tired. Sorry. Everyone was very, very tired, and I had a pack of M&Ms with me, and I was like, since everyone's so tired, let me toss these around so everyone can like have a burst of energy to say. So like, I took one, and I took the rest of them. It was like one of those tiny little Halloween ones. It's like I took one M&M, and I took a handful of the rest, and I passed them around one way. So like everyone gets one, and then pass the one around, and then like one of the guys in the Osra, he gets 3. Like by the time he gets 3, he's supposed to take 1. He's supposed to pass the other 2 to the other guys next to him, and he takes all 3 and just shoves them in his mouth. And we're like, Noor, like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, sorry, I'm not thinking.
He just wrote a midterm yesterday.
Yeah.
So.
Did he?
He did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's like fried, poor guy.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I could tell. From his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell everybody who's wrote midterms, they just look like zombies right now.
Yeah.
They just have a certain look and they can't talk properly.
November sucks for like you guys. Like I'm
Oh,
chilling.
I finished my midterms before reading week.
Yeah, Aaron's living the life.
Yeah, I don't
Aaron's
know.
living the life.
Working for the government.
I just live,
Getting married.
a real life.
Getting married.
Getting married?
Yeah.
Savage.
Aaron's the most successful.
I think
out
we
of
should
all of us.
mention
Easily.
all our ages here, just so it's not awkward.
I already mentioned. I'm 17.
Oh, I didn't mention my age. I'm 24.
I'm 24.
I'm 27. I'm the uncle. Ugh, I hate
Uncle
saying
Aaron.
Wait till we get Matada on here.
that. Okay.
Oh yeah, that'll fix it.
I'm 17. I'm 24. I'm 34. I think other 34-year-olds make fun of Murtada or like praise him for being like so.
Oh, he looks like a replicant. He hasn't aged in 10, 20
honestly,
years.
yeah.
honestly.
So.
I still remember like the first time I remember Tada was when I was in university, and I thought he was like, he looked like he could be a student.
Yeah.
And I was so surprised when I found out
Yeah.
he was actually like 8 years older than I
Funny
am.
story actually.
And has 3 kids.
we should go into how we met everybody. That would be cool.
Yeah, sure.
I'll start. So I met Cher. Actually, when I first met Cher, it was really intimate, which is like the weirdest thing.
That's a weird
Like
word to use.
Zach, myself, and Cher came into the cave, and we just like chilled on the floor and like told each other like all these things about our lives. I just met Cher, and like I already knew all about her. Right? It was like within like a span of like 2 hours, and we told each other like our deepest, darkest secrets. And
That sounds awkward.
Yeah,
Not
it was like
was a
kind of
good
awkward,
time.
but it was awesome.
It was
like, look how close
unplanned,
we
it
are
was
now.
spontaneous,
Yeah.
and look at this, we're sitting next to each other in a podcast.
right?
that's the goal.
I met Zeki. This is a hilarious story. I met Zeki back when his beard was like way bigger than it is now. Like
Oh
now,
my god.
like mashallah, you like tame it, you like groom it.
I tame the
whatever.
beast.
Yeah.
You've tamed the beard.
So it was, we have a camp awakening every summer. I think I met both Aaron and Zeki at the same camp. So I met Zeki. His beard was huge, and he took powder and put it in his beard and acted like he was Gandalf because he had a stick, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like because of the Gandalf reference, I automatically like Zeki. I was like, cool. I was like, too bad this guy's like 30 years old. I honestly thought, and you were younger then.
Yeah.
Honestly thought Zeki was like a father of 3, and like you know like just like living it up as a middle-aged dad.
You
Like
you can't see me right now, but I'm crying.
while he's eating his feelings. And I met Aaron at the same camp. We were in a cabin, and like it was very nice because it was like all of us were like straight Muslims. I don't know how to say that, but like born and bred
Straight Muslims.
born and bred straight Muslim. There's like one gay dude. No, it was, but like all of us were like born and raised Muslim, so like all brown people and like a couple Somalis, a couple Arabs, and like all this, right? So like this white dude comes strolling in, and I was like, oh, he's a spy. Like, that was my first thought. That was my first thought. That's how I know I've been hanging out with uncles too much. And like he meets us, and he was like, "Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aaron." I was like, he said salam. I was like, wow, they got their spies trained nice. It's like I had my eye on Aaron, and like he was like a super cool dude. I don't even remember anything from that camp really. I just remember meeting you, and then I was like, yeah, Aaron's a cool dude. And like over time, since then, like look at us now. Like dang.
Yeah.
Like dang.
Like dang, son.
Cher, how'd you meet everybody?
You know what? This is actually a pretty tough question because my memory is pretty bad. But
Yeah.
I do recall our intimate floor session. That was definitely one of the highlights of my
Please don't
masjid
call it
experience.
You guys hear
Whatever, you guys are just jealous because you're
Highlight.
part of it.
Highlight.
Okay, I guess not.
Masjid experience.
Since I don't actually remember the exact time that I met Aaron and Zaki, I will mention though that walking into the masjid, when it was new to me and things like that, they were very hospitable. Always asking me to help them with events, asking me to come out for dinner and things like that. And now we're all four guys sitting in a room together, kind of discussing how we got to that point, which I think is really cool because like we're all from different backgrounds, we're all different ages, yet we're always able to do something meaningful. So
Yeah.
alhamdulillah.
I don't want to cut you off or anything, but Cher and I were like talking about this when we were planning for the podcast. And this will actually segue into another topic I'll discuss after you guys are done talking. We were talking about like what made us want to be like so heavily involved in like the volunteering and all this, and what both of us said, and I don't know if you guys are the same way, but both of us were saying, I remember walking into the masjid and there was a group of guys, right? Well, specifically for me, this is my story, right? So there's a group of guys, and one guy would come, like there was two guys at first.
Was it an
One-
intimate session?
One guy would come, and they would all shake hands and like greet each other. How are you doing? How your family doing? And then another guy would come and he would join them. And like I would look at that and I was like, I want to be one of the guys. Like that was my first like. I remember having that thought very specifically that I want to be one of those guys. So really, what drew me to being like the what is it, community servant? Was that it?
Yeah.
The community servant that I am today. It was the relationships that I saw. I was so like, I don't know if jealous is the right word, but like I wanted that so like dearly. So like alhamdulillah, like I'm totally happy to say like I think I've achieved what I wanted, but now I have better goals. Like it's totally cool.
Yeah.
So like it was a pretty bad time to mention that because like now we're on a different topic. But really quick, how'd you meet everybody? Exactly.
I same issue as Cher. I don't really have that good of a memory. I don't know how I got through school, but I think I met Atif at the Camp Awakening, right? And then I met Cher at the masjid. He's just like this like flag guy comes in every like Isha and Maghrib, and he's like, wow, who's that? And then eventually, like I don't remember when we actually talked for the first time, but it was in the masjid sometime in the Musalla. And then Aaron, we talked about this yesterday. Didn't
Yeah.
we? I can't remember.
Are you serious?
Yes, yo,
Okay.
3 years ago, different story. Yesterday, bro.
Hey, bro,
There's no
no, I
excuse
can't remember.
Do you want me to tell you how you met me?
Yes, please. Sure. Yes, go ahead. I am already savaged.
Okay. I met Zeki actually. I guess a little bit of backstory about myself. I grew up in Leduc, which is half hour south of Edmonton.
It translates to the duck.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. In French, it's literally the Duke. Get wrecked. Okay. So
The duck duke.
It's not the duck, okay?
Leduc.
The duck duke. Anyways.
Then I went to school at McEwen University here in Edmonton, and then when I was doing my work placement, I moved into Edmonton. So moved out of my parents' house for good, and then this kind of ties in actually nicely to what kind of made me want to be, part of the masjid, because I remember the first time I came to this masjid, there was an event going on. They brought a speaker in from Ontario. I can't remember where, but like I remember walking in, and like for me, I was actually intimidated by really large masjids at first, because like in Leduc there's no masjid. The closest one is in Wetaskiwin, which is another half hour south, and it was just like this tiny little building, right? And so I was not very comfortable going into like large masjids with large groups of people. And I remember walking into this one and just like seeing, it was especially like I saw like kids running around, there was like families here, and like immediately I actually felt like I was home. And so I was
Things
like,
were on fire.
and so I was like, you know what? I want to be part of like this masjid. Like I felt like this was my mosque, right? And so shortly afterwards, it was Yassine actually. He was another one of the volunteers here. I hung out with him a lot, and he started kind of like introducing me to the programs Mac had going on and everything. And then eventually it got to a point where like I was helping out just like as much as I could, like with Camp Awakening, which is where I met Atif. And by the way, that was the first time I'd ever done like camp counseling. I actually hated camp. I had a bad experience at camp growing up as a child, and I just like swore off camping after that. And then I come here and they're like, "Hey, you want to be a camp counselor?" I'm like, "Okay, sure." So
I just said if I get to pretend to be Gandalf, I'm good with anything, and that's what happened.
Yes.
It's like arrangements will be made so you can cosplay Gandalf.
And I did, and I still have the stick. Actually, I used to. My mom threw it away.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this. My mom.
Here's another interesting thing. I really like sticks. Anyways, keep going.
Okay.
Matt says back.
Yeah, and so
I hope Cher was picked up.
and so anyway, I remember it was the old youth center downstairs when it was like still the youth center, I guess. Now we were actually talking with Martada, one of the older guys here, and that's when I first met Zeki. And I remember like again, like I kind of got the impression you were older than me. But it turns out I'm actually older.
You look
than
old,
you.
dude. Like I don't know how to tell you.
It's the beard, I think.
I've
was
been
the
called
big
for-
beard. It was the
and
big beard.
I
Yeah,
thought
it was, yeah.
I actually thought you were like, just because you were like dressed in a thobe, you had like a big beard. You may have had the kufi on. I thought you were like one of those like
No, I
super
don't want
strict.
kufis on.
Okay, well I thought you were like one of those like super strict guys, right? And so I was like,
This is the second person I'm hearing this from.
Yeah.
He honestly looked like one of my dad's friends when I first saw him.
Here's the thing. I've been called 40 before. So,
Like, how do
yeah.
you feel? Like, do you go to sleep and like cry a little bit?
No, I'm like, that's fine. I mean, you do you.
It's just wisdom, you know.
Yeah.
I just, as soon as they hear me talk, it kind of the game is up.
Yeah, it's so gross.
Like from far away, I look 40, and I come close and I start talking about like Lord of the Rings and then it's
Pokemon.
all over.
Pokemon gave it
Pokemon.
All
I
Pokemon.
Pokemon. I love Pokemon.
Gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch.
You should've
them
used that.
all.
I did actually catch them all in the red version. Thank you very much.
Did you?
That's like my crowning achievement.
Did you
All
guys
50
see the-
ones.
Wow.
Put that on the resume.
Remember,
You should.
Remember,
I'd hire you.
Google had like a specific, like in Google Maps, like you find specific Pokemon. Did you do that?
I thought that was just like an April Fool's Day joke.
No, it was real.
It was like a
Yeah.
real like competition, and like the first person that found all the Pokemon was like flown out to Google or something like an extravagant prize. I was like, thanks, Google. Like, awesome.
Yeah. And Cher, kind of the same way as Zeki meant. Like, I just saw this like very sharply dressed guy.
Oh, you guys are making me
coming
blush.
into
Come on.
coming into the boss house. I was like, that looks like a cool guy.
I'd like to expose Cher a bit. Half my wardrobe currently is was bought when I was with him, and he advised me. Like I have like I think 2 jeans and like 5 shirts and like 1 cardigan that I'm wearing right now, and yeah, many other things.
Making the place
and
more
I can
beautiful.
honestly say, since Cher has come into Zeki's life, he's been better dressed, 100%.
Yes,
100%,
100%.
totally.
Yes.
Saving lives with one fluffy sweater at a time.
yes.
He's like, Zeki just wears like
Okay.
kurtas and all thobes.
But
like,
keep in mind that is his style, though. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So I
that's not gonna
respect that
change. But
nonetheless.
but at least now he wears different color thobes.
There you go.
Well, okay, I'll tell you what I used to wear before. I used to wear like really baggy cargo pants all the time. I still have them. And I used to wear these like really stretchable shirts from Mark's Work Warehouse. They're really stretchable. Really, like you'd be surprised how
I
stretchable
still
they
have
are.
my cargo pants. You like, open up your closet and you see a cargo pants, like, not today. Like, move them aside.
And side note, even though he has all these cargo pants, he still went hiking in a kurta.
Oh yeah, so we went to BC. Aaron's family has like a shady trailer there.
Okay.
It's owned by his family.
You're walking next
I don't
time,
know if
buddy.
he means like his family or like his like family.
It's my family. Thank you very
It's
much.
like the Italian family, and
You think Aaron's in the mob?
How do you know I'm not?
I don't know. That's why.
His name is Aaron.
That's right.
Maybe I am actually a spy. Maybe you were right. the
Oh
whole
my
time.
god, since I first met
Says that
him.
with a
He's
straight
spying on us
face.
since. You work for the government, don't you?
Yes.
They train them really well.
I've been accepted into their ranks.
They're making me do a podcast.
My training is not
Very
led up to
sinister.
this.
Okay,
well,
yeah. What was I saying? What was I saying?
Hiking.
Oh, hiking. Yes. So yeah, so Aaron has this trailer in British Columbia, Radium, and we went there twice. We went there once this year and then once last year. And we would go hiking to these like glaciers and all the cool Canadian stuff that you guys will never do if you're not in Canada. But I would go hiking in a kurta, in like this green kurta. I would just first person ever to hike in a Corsa. So yeah,
That's
I'm
not-
pretty proud of that.
Definitely not
And
true.
then it was so funny when we were in Radium, you were like the only brown person anyone had ever seen, right? And Abdul-Majid was like the only black guy there. And then like I remember when we were in Invermere and Abs came across, there was another black guy there, and like he said, like he just like looked at each other and
Like,
like,
yeah, I got you, man.
because
I
everyone
got you.
else there was white, right? So,
I didn't
like-
find any brown person to do that with, but probably would have ignored each other if we saw.
Okay, well, going past the whole meeting people, like meeting each other, I kind of already touched on this with my story. So I can say like confidently that we're all pretty involved in like the community, right? Like we do our part. Maybe like we're not doing our best part, but we do like
we do a part.
We do a part.
We do a part.
Part.
Together we do.
Together we're doing a part right now, right?
Doing parts.
Like Barney.
Yeah.
What?
Zaki, like, what's happening to you today, man? Anyways, I just wanted to say,
Just,
like,
it makes sense.
for me, it was like,
to you.
for me, it was like the relationships, right? Like the relationships, it really struck a chord with me. I really wanted to have a relationship like that. Now I have many, which is like amazing, right? Under that. So I just wanted you guys to like touch on it. Like, what made you want? Like, of course, like maybe you didn't want to at first, but now I can say like you want to because like no one's forcing you to be here, but you're here. It's like, what made you want to be like involved in it? Stop
it.
Okay.
Stop touching that.
Wow.
Are you guys
These
playing
guys are playing.
footsies?
Yeah, these guys are
No.
playing footsie underneath.
Really?
Keeps
I
touching-
know.
he
Lies.
keeps-
They don't listen to them.
He keeps touching the bottom of the table.
I think
It's like
Athaf's
bump-
fiending for another
bumping the
intimate
mic.
session.
Don't touch that. Like I hear it all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think like just like Atif, relationships was a big part of it. I can actually remember this that Nuh was the same guy who ate 3 of those M&Ms.
Yeah.
Was the first friend relationship that I had made in the masjid. Again, everybody here was very hospitable and things like that. And you know what? Like for me, I guess it was a change of lifestyle, right? Maybe I've not been going down the right path, came to the masjid, and things changed, right? So it's like by joining these events and things like that, maybe we can inspire somebody to pick up a skill or inspire somebody to join an initiative like this, or who knows, maybe change somebody's life, right? So it adds that little bit meaningful aspect to it, and you get to meet a lot of great friends at the same time.
Awesome.
Cool story.
What about you? You mentioned yours already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think, I mean, when I first started with the organization that we're all with, Muslim Association of Canada, I just wanted to help out. Like, I was going through like a rough time, and then at that time, my mom kind of, forever grateful to her, but she forced me to go volunteer at this convention called the MAC Convention in 2011 or 12, somewhere around there. 2012, yeah. And that was like my first time doing any kind of like community service, community volunteering, anything like that. And after that point, I mean, that was just like a game changer. It was my life changer for me. And you know, after that point, I just realized that I knew exactly what I wanted to do in terms of my volunteer work. And you know, the feeling that I got on that day after the convention, like I think that night I prayed Isha, and then that was like my longest Isha prayer for a long time. I haven't even I don't think I've reached that level since. But I knew that I had to like pass this on to other people, and the best way I could do that is by being in community service. So,
Yeah,
and that's what I'm
That's
doing.
great.
It's a good point. Like, I think prior to like becoming like the person I have become like via Mac, I don't think I ever prayed with like pure substance of like, instead of like, oh, my dad is making me forcing me to pray. Fine, like, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like praying with substance is like so much like internally like rewarding. Like you feel like, you know what I mean? Like it's like this. It's the emotional feeling of eating really warm soup when you're sick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where you feel
Ooh.
like that coating.
That's that analogy.
What
Who's the
analogy.
writer
Wow.
now? Who's the writer now?
Wow, really? Dang, I should give up my writer's
Yeah.
card to you.
Yes.
Aaron, go ahead.
Yeah. For me, it kind of goes back to, it actually started in university. I volunteered with the Muslim Students Organization at McEwen, and it wasn't because like I actually kind of didn't want to. I went to school with the mentality of being like, you know, I'm just here to like study. I don't want to like make friends or anything, and that lasted about a week or so. And then I ended up helping out with the MSO there, and for me, I felt it was more like a responsibility for me. and that's partly because of my background as being like a Muslim convert, right? And so I felt that by me kind of putting myself out there, no matter how uncomfortable it may be, you know, it's kind of an in for people to learn about Islam, really, because I've had a very, you know, unique situation in how I came to Islam. And, you know, when people, like, you know, see the white guy standing at the MSO booth.
You're white?
You know, it's surprising, you know. I'm surprised I haven't turned brown by now.
Yeah, I even bought him a kurta.
I've
He
never
wore
been-
it when he went for Hajj. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, because I would have died if I didn't.
Aaron,
It's
are
like
you the
so
one that
hot
like
there.
really loves brown food?
Well, you better.
Yeah, I have to learn how to like it. But yeah, no, I do. I do actually really like brown food.
I remember there's some guy out there who likes brown food more than me. I want to meet him.
Me.
You're brown.
Another
Doesn't
brown
matter.
guy.
I'm a convert.
That's true.
Anyways,
Yeah. And so, like, I remember, like, I felt that, you know, initially there's that kind of shock factor when you talk with someone and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm Aaron and I'm Muslim. And then, like, but when I talk with Muslims, they, like, assume I'm from, like, Lebanon or from, like, somewhere else. It's like, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, you know, from Canada. Like, oh, where are your parents from? It's like, Canada. So in that sense, like, I always felt it was kind of like I had, like, a responsibility to kind of push myself out there, just because, you know, because I do kind of have that background of, like, having found Islam, really.
Yeah.
And so then that, all throughout university, I volunteered with the MSO, and, like, that was probably the best decision I made while I was in school, because it really pushed me to become someone that I didn't think I could be, because I was very shy and I was very, like, withdrawn. And then next thing you know, they elected me as the president. So, like, at that point I had no choice but to, like, I was like, okay, now I feel like I'm, like, an ambassador of Islam, right? So, like, I have to, like, you know, I have to present it as best I can. And so all throughout school I helped with the MSO, and then when I graduated, I started, like, MAC was just like a natural extension of what I did with MSO. Like, it was very, very easy transition. And so in a way, like, I still feel that kind of sense of responsibility.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you're, like, doing a great job. Like, you got Convert Connect going on. That's, like, Convert Connect is probably, like, probably, like, my favorite. Like, when you hear about, like, descriptions of, like, events, I think Convert Connect and Art of Manliness are, like, my two favorite. Art of Manliness. Art of Manliness is a program we do bi-weekly in the Mac Cave. It's just, like, teaching you life skills. Like last time we had the art of auto maintenance, and we learned how to boost a car, how to change a spare tire, and, like, now you have, like, how do you feel knowing? Zeki, do you know how to change a tire and, like, boost a car? No.
I wasn't there.
How do you feel that a 10-year-old was there and he knows?
I know,
how to do
and
it?
he knows more than I do. I feel so ashamed. Like, I want to go and just, like, take all the tires of my car right now.
and just change them all.
You know,
Just,
actually,
like,
I
I'll
did
do it.
that. I actually changed my own winter tires after that.
You did?
Yeah,
Wow.
see?
Nice.
It took like 3 hours to do, but, you know, I was like,
Worth
I
it.
can do this.
And, like, tomorrow being Sunday, November 15th, which is not way past the time you're going to be hearing this, if you do hear this. Tomorrow we're doing Art of Public Speaking, which is also, like, very important. Like Aaron said, like, he was a shy dude, and, like, maybe if you came to the art of public speaking,
You wouldn't have been as shy.
Maybe you would have been shy, but you could talk pretty well.
Yeah, see, that's the thing about public speaking, is that, like, even the people who, like, know how to do it still hate it. Like, Winston Churchill said, like, he hated public speaking.
Yeah.
And so, like, for me, like, I still, like, I would rather not, but I know how to do it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
like, it's not so much, like, overcoming your fear of public speaking, it's just knowing how to deal with it.
Just deal with
properly.
it.
Just deal with it.
No, I think that's a great topic. It's very practical to learn how to do that, right? Like, even for example, me, like, I can talk okay in a mic, right? But you tell me to go speak in front of everybody, like, my lip starts quivering.
Yeah.
And it's uncontrollable, right? And I mean, I think I'm going to attend that one. I think that's going to be good.
Sundays, 3 to 6, bi-weekly.
And if we're doing plugs, Convert Connect every Tuesday at 6:30.
Convert Connect is, like, really cool. And at Convert Connect, of course, you don't have to be a convert to attend. You don't even have to be Muslim to attend, actually.
You can be anyone.
Yeah.
Can be an animal.
I guess.
So we'll see you there.
If there's any.
Wow!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh no!
If I can dish it, I can take it.
As we've been recording this for the past 34 minutes, Zeki's eaten how many of those have you eaten?
I don't. I'd rather not say.
I ate 2 of them. Dude.
They're good.
They're straight from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Aaron,
What are
did you bring
these?
I did, yeah.
Straight out of Saudi.
Like Aaron's the man. He's brought like
These things are like so good. Like
90% of the food that's been in the cave is from Aaron.
Yeah, I know.
I kept buying these like dinky little packets of them. I'm like, I gotta find a box of these things.
Yeah.
They're so good, even though they're like loaded with preservatives. But it's like
What are they?
they're so good. What's that?
What are these?
What do you mean? What are they? They're date rolls.
What are these?
He's chewing with his mouth full while he's doing a
I just wanted
podcast.
to let them know that it was date rolls. Not
Okay,
like
cool.
like shady
Well,
substance.
you could have just
You
said
wanna-
they're date
If
rolls.
you want to plug them, there's date rolls.
Tamaria
Tamaria.
by Gandor.
If you want to sponsor us.
Gandoor.
Right to Gandor.
so I think introductions aside, like I think our introductions are done at this point. I think the listener has a good job. Has a good sense of who we are. Not a good job.
Good job, listeners.
Good job, listeners.
Good job.
You held in this long. We're impressed.
So one topic that I think we should talk about is today is Saturday, November 14th, and it's the day right after the Paris attacks. Right, Paris attacks were last night. Honestly, I don't even know that much about it. I want to look it online as we talk about it, actually. So with the Paris attacks, what happened was, and honestly, like I have no clue, so stop me if I sound like an idiot. It's
Stop.
just that it was,
Stop.
I didn't say anything.
Stop.
I had to see that coming. I'm out. I'm done. That's it. No, but what happened was just a terrorist attack. You know, like these things happen, even though they're awful. It's super sad. Like 120. This last night at 7 p.m. was when I last checked. 120 people died. Is what the last update said. And before we start talking about it, like I thought about this on the car ride, like here, right in the morning. Like being a part of a number like 120, like you think, oh man, 120 people died. But like when you think about like 120 people, like individuals died, and like if those people had like 5 family members who were like traumatized as each, that's like do some math.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime,
600,
anytime there's like a terrorist attack or any kind of attack or something, it spreads more than just that individual, right? And it's a long-term effect for anybody who's even had the experience of losing a family member or something like that, right? It's not something that goes away, and this is such an extreme and unfortunate event. Again, I don't know too much about it. I don't know if the rest of you guys have done a lot of research.
So I'm just looking it up now, and the headline says, and this is from the Guardian, which is pretty reputable, I'd say, right? Yeah. So it says, Paris attacks, one gunman was a French extremist known to police. So it says here, one attacker was French. Statement claiming to be from the Islamic State says France's top target. Attacks were retaliation for France's bombing in Syria, ISIS says. So from what this says, and it's obviously like a live update, and we don't know all the details, but from right now, I'm assuming, as well as a lot of media outlets are assuming, and it's a fair assumption that ISIS is behind this. And just to start, like, probably going to get off onto a rambling about ISIS and Islam, all this, like things you've probably heard many times before. So I just want to say 2 things before we start. So obviously, like, ISIS is not tied to Islam in as closely as people think, right? And the fact that they're even called the Islamic State sometimes bothers me, because like you hear the Islamic State.
I could, you know, like I could call myself Gandalf. It doesn't mean it's true. They can call themselves whatever they want. Right. Doesn't mean that.
And like the fact that like that hurts me hard is when I hear Islamic. Now I think of state, and like that's so bad. Like that's so awful. When Islam is like such a like a beautiful thing, but like it's such a topic that I've discussed so many times, and like I don't know if I should be happy or sad that at this point I feel like I don't even need to say that this isn't the core beliefs of Islam. Like I don't know if I'm happy about it or sad, because like I would be happy because a lot of people actually know this now compared to like 5 years ago. But I'm sad because I've said it so many times.
Well, you know, like we discussed earlier, we're all activists, we're all volunteers, and we work so hard to kind of spread the beauty of Islam. And the thing that hurts me the most is, you know, when people make us take 2 steps back. And it's...
Yeah, like for example, the yesterday was, this is really telling, by the way. we had an open house at the center here, and then there were three media outlets, CBC, Global, and CTV, that were covering it. And then I went home, and then I heard that they were going to be showing up at a TV spot at 6 o'clock. And guess what happened? This breaking news kind of took over the entire spot. I think they still showed up online, but there's like so many people that this positive news story about Muslims and Islam could have reached, and it was kind of completely shut down by this news in Paris. So this is what, when you have idiots like these idiots, running around with guns and just shooting people at random, then this is what happens. Like, all the good news stories are shut down, and people focus, or the media focuses on the bad stories. So
I just want to plug something really quick there too. I know Farouk mentioned this in I think on his Facebook post, or somebody said, it's very telling, like what Sheikh Naveed said. He said, if you don't create a narrative where you're the good guy, people are going to create a narrative where you're the bad guy.
I was just about to say that, exactly. And it's very important. And like I mentioned this at our also this morning, where that statement is like so true when you think about it, right? Like when you think about the core beliefs and like fundamentals of Islam, like taking care of your neighbor, smiling at strangers, or like whatever, just smelling good. Like smelling good is a very like a blessed thing to like have about
Hygiene,
yourself.
essentially.
Right, yeah. And so, smelling good is because like you can either smell good and people will smell you and feel good to be around you, or you can smell normal and no one's affected by it, or you can smell bad and people won't like you. So really, there's three ways, and one benefits people. So you're like, what's the word for it? Like, you're not praised. What's the word I'm looking for? Rewarded. You're rewarded for smelling good, right? So when you take into these like core fundamentals, like smiling at people you see, taking care of the sick, visiting the sick at least, like being nice to everybody, there's no way that the media can take these like savages, like in Syria and stuff, and relate them to Muslims, because when people like see people that are acting like these these ways where we're so nice, and you say like, oh, Islam is evil, it's not logical. Like, people won't believe you.
yeah.
So I think it's really like it comes down to us. Like, we have to create that narrative where we're the hero. Otherwise, it's just going to keep continuing us being the villain. Right?
Yeah, and that's what we attempt to do here at Mac, and that was one of the reasons why we did the open house, even just to invite all our neighbors, anyone who's interested in Islam, just come and have a look at what Islam is about, etc., etc.
Yeah.
That's what we were trying to do, and the thing is though that it's such a negative effect on all the efforts that we do whenever things like these happen, because then we take like 100 steps back when we've been taking like baby steps forward ever since the last attack. And then the next one come, and then it'll be like this same thing happens all over again. So that's why it's frustrating.
I would partially disagree, just for a sense that I don't think it's necessarily us that's taking a step back. I think each time these attacks happens, it's actually kind of like it's an impetus for us to like push harder, to work harder. It's the image of Islam that people have that ends up taking a step back.
Exactly.
But the thing that like the weird flip side of this too is that like, because like you have these terrible attacks that happen, oftentimes that actually spurs people on to like actually try and understand Islam a little more. At least people who like think for themselves and not just digest what.
That's true, but don't you think like that? Of course, that's true, right? But don't you think if we were all just like, if these attacks never happened, and instead we were like these heroes in this narrative, right? And we were all just like super nice, and like, don't you think people would eventually catch on? Wow, every Muslim I meet is so nice. Maybe I should look into this. Don't you think that would happen more often?
You know what? I think. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. You know what? Like, I understand where Aaron's coming from. It is the image of Islam that takes a step back.
Yeah.
It just creates more motivation for us. And now a story that I'm going to tell is, what? The little things always do matter. So we shouldn't say that our efforts are pushed back by any means. It was actually Bilal, one of the brothers in our Usra, said that, his neighbors would always shovel the driveway of his neighbor. And they were non-Muslims, and they would just do it out of the goodness of their heart. Right, and they would do this pretty continuously, and one day that family actually went into the masjid and told the sheikh that I want to be Muslim. So the sheikh is like, oh, alhamdulillah, that's great. Like, what made you do this? And they're like, well, we have these neighbors. They're Muslim and they shovel our driveway. You know, so again, it's all our efforts are always there if you're doing it with the right intent.
Totally. And it's like, really, Aaron's right. Like, this makes me want to, like, push harder with, like, all of our stuff. Like, for, like, the first time ever, I'm very excited for our first snowfall so we can get our snow shoveling program into effect. And, like, it's, like, my intentions, like, it's totally for the sake of Allah and all these things, right? But also, like, now it's becoming to the point where we're really, like, obligated to do these things just to withhold, like, the name of Islam. Because really it's being battered because just the only people that you're really hearing from are these, like, extremists, are the only people you're hearing from. You're not hearing from, like, the actual Muslims themselves. So really do, like, the statement where we have to create our own narrative where we're the hero, or we're going to be in a narrative where we're the villain, is, like, 150% true.
And I think that's very important, is that we make our own narrative. We don't have to follow, like, a preset kind of overstory, wasn't us, kind of like apologetic kind of stance that you know, oftentimes we see Muslim organizations taking. Why should we do that? We didn't do anything wrong. This is our country. Even though I am an immigrant to Canada, I feel that this is as much as my country as it is, like, you know, someone who's been born and raised here. Aaron, well, I guess so. But I don't feel any kind of, like, I don't feel like an immigrant. Let's just say that. And that's a huge thing on its own. That's a huge credit to Canada.
Exactly, right? Like, you don't feel like
I don't. Yeah.
And, like, a lot of these people in, like, other countries, like, they get to this country and they don't fit in. Like, they just know they don't fit in.
Yeah, and it happens in many places. I'm sure it still happens in Canada, but Edmonton is just about. Edmonton is known, or Alberta, which is the province that Edmonton is in, is known as the Texas of. Yeah, we're like the Texas of Canada. So if I can come here and I can feel like I'm home, then, you know, I imagine the rest of Canada. So that's why I think that we don't need to apologize for anything. No one did, and we didn't do anything wrong, and no one did anything wrong, really. Like, these idiots are just like 0.001% of the total Muslim population of the world, anyways. So we create our own narrative by showing the rest of the world, by showing our neighbors that we're good neighbors, by showing our kind of fellow man that we're not just, like, we don't just do things because we're Muslim, like, we do things because we're human. And that goes a very long way into making our own narrative, so we don't have to follow anyone else's preset narrative.
Cool. I think that's a good point to leave off on, right? So, like, really I guess, like, the core really message from this podcast, at least the second half of it, is that we really do have to create the narrative where we're the hero, or we're going to continue being part of the narrative where we're the villain. And on that, I think that's a good point to leave off on. So, from the team over here at My Cave,
Episode 1.
1A.
Like -1.
Asterisk.
Footnotes.
I don't know. We'll listen it over, and if it was a good enough podcast, I guess we'll upload it. Personally, I feel okay about this episode. I didn't go as awkwardly as I thought it would.
Yeah, it actually felt...
We really eased
all because
into
of
it.
me. Like,
Zeki was
Gandalf.
really weird at first. Like, I didn't want to be here.
Gandalf.
Like, what?
The Tamria calmed him down, or
Yeah. Really.
Those days were...
What did you have in them? Like, did you lace
It's the
them with something,
preservatives,
or-
man, I tell you.
Anyways, thank you very much for listening. If you had gotten to this point, we do look forward to making way more of these. And give us a like them.
well,
I'm